Hello, and welcome to a parent instructional video on discipline entitled Keeping the Calm. This is part one, where we introduce the concept of discipline and what motivates children and adults. So what is discipline? Simply said, discipline is the byproduct of love. It is what we do for our children because we love them so much that we really want them to grow into be successful adults who understand their place in this world and understand the impact that their actions have on themselves and on others. Discipline, though, is not about power. It's not about control. It's an opportunity for us to guide and to grow our children. It's not about Big Brother watching and us being the all-powerful adults. It is an act of service from the adult to the child in guiding them and growing them. Now, we also need to look at the world that our children are going to live in. And this is why discipline should not be a mirror of the past. Rather, it should prepare children for the future. So the way we were disciplined no longer is valid. The way our grandparents disciplined no longer works. We are preparing children for a whole different world with a whole different skill set, and we need to now take a different approach to discipline. In understanding how to discipline children effectively, we need to understand what motivates us. So there are two different kinds of motivation. You get an extrinsic motivation and an intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is when you are motivated by external factors, things that are impacted and caused by other people. Whereas intrinsic motivation is an internal driving motivation. It's something that comes from the person. So let's have a look at extrinsic. You can have positive extrinsic motivators, and you can have negative extrinsic motivators. Then you have an intrinsic motivation, which is when it comes from internally. So let's unpack extrinsic. This is things like badges, merit badges, good behavior badges, rewards like prizes, and, if you get full marks for your test, I will take you for an ice cream. It's money, certificates. These are some of the positive extrinsic motivators, gold stars for achieving well. Then there's the negative extrinsic motivators, and this is things like fear of failure, fear of punishment, and then rejection. If we look at intrinsic motivators, these are things that drive us, that come from inside of us. This is things like love, being driven by love, curiosity, pride, that feeling of fulfillment when you know that you've done something great, achieving what you're wanting to do, interest in something. When you're interested in something, it drives you to complete it. It drives you to pursue it. Mastery, that feeling of having mastered something. And then autonomy, the autonomy that a child gets from being able to do something. Now, on the plus side of extrinsic motivations is you get quick results. If you want to have children that jump up and greet people and, that are yes sir, no sir, and that is the impression that you want to give of your child, then extrinsic rewards and negative motivations is something that's going to get you there quickly. However, this isn't a short-term impact. This is not natural. The child feels coerced or controlled into those results. On the other hand, if it's intrinsic, it does take a little bit of time to see the results. They're not instant, but they're lifelong because they come from the child. They understand why manners are important. They understand why we're expected to behave in a certain way. And when they understand the why, the how is going to happen naturally. And this becomes an internal thing that almost becomes embedded in the child's DNA, and it becomes natural. So therefore, it has a lifelong impact, and those behaviors will follow them throughout their life. Right, so that is it for part one. Join me next time for part two, where we're going to be talking about choices and consequences.